Welcome to Safety Gyan course. Hope you are doing well. We have come with another video. In this video, we are going to learn about what is hazard, what are the different types of occupational hazard with examples, and the most important, what are the hierarchy of hazard control in an industries. So let's move on to the video. Request you to be connected throughout the video so that the concept will be very clear to you. So first of all, a question arises: what is hazard? If you go across the definition of the hazard in different books or websites, you will come to know that some more or less it's the meaning is same. The potential source of harm. It is the gist of the term hazard, or either you can say anything that has the potential to cause harm to an individual, or in a broader way it can cause harm to the individual or damage to the machinery or as well as damage to the environment. See, the term hazard can be qualified in order to define its origin. Either it can be qualified, the term hazard, to define its origin or the nature of the potential harm. Also, the hazard can be defined either it is permanently present during the intended use of the machine or can occur unexpectedly. It means hazard is always present. If we go through an example, for example, there is a rotatory machinery, so there is always a hazard of moving elements, there is a hazard of entanglement. Okay, if the machine is running, it is creating noise, its noise is an hazard. Okay, but it is always present. But hazard can also appear unexpectedly. For example, explosion can occur, crushing hazard as a consequence of an unintended or unexpected startup, fall as a consequence of acceleration or deceleration. Or you can say, if we talk about a very common construction site, the construction site and a greenfield project, most of it's a farmland or a barren land or a forest land which is cut. So if you look there, and work of bar bending is going on, so the hazards of bar bending machinery is already there, so it is always present during the use of the machine. But some hazards can appear unexpectedly. What are those hazards? For example, an animal enters into the site or a snake is observed, it is an unexpected hazard. Or the machinery causes explosion. Explosion means there is a fire, so it is a hazard which occurs unexpectedly, but it does not happen in normal conditions. So this is the regarding the hazard definition. So we will see what are the categories of occupational health hazard. Why we are considering the term occupational? Because hazards can be related to the workplace also, to their household also. But here we are going to discuss about the occupation. So the first one is physical hazard, second one is chemical hazard, third one is biological, fourth is physiosocial, and fifth is ergonomical. Let's take an example of all these hazards and discuss in detail. So if we talk about physical hazards can include noise, vibration, heat, etc. Chemical hazards can include dust, fibers, gases, vapors. Biological hazards include fungus, bacteria, viruses. Psychosocial means that is related, it is generally not seen, but it's a mental pressure. For example, stress, violence at workplace, you are overloaded with the work, so you are overstressed, you are not mentally free, so you cannot give your best, you will always be thinking something, and there are chances of your accident or meeting someone with an accident. Violence at workplace, you are caught under some violence, or your boss is not speaking to you properly, he is using foul languages, it can be a cause of stress or violence. Ergonomical hazards basically includes the posture and workplace layout. It deals with your posture, body posture. For example, you are continuously sitting picking. For example, you are shifting in material, you are picking a material from the ground, you are standing, and then you are keeping at a distance at above your height. So it means it's a repetitive motion that can cause hazard in a long term, which is also known as musculoskeletal disorder. or workplace layout. For example, you are provided with a workplace sitting arrangement with a system, a computer to work, and you are provided with a small chair that is not reaching properly, that is not maintaining the height to your working station. So that is all comes under ergonomical hazard. We will see some of the examples of hazard and potential consequences. See, we are seeing some of them, we are not covering all in detail. For example, first we will consider about mechanical hazard. So what are the origins of mechanical hazard? Acceleration, deacceleration, angular parts, cutting parts, elastic elements, falling objects, gravity, high pressure, kinetic energy, and so on. And what are the potential consequences? Means these are the hazards. What can be the consequences? The consequences means being run over, being thrown, crushing, entanglement, impact, injection, searing, suffocation, and others that are mentioned you can go across. Other we can see noise hazard. What are the origin of noise hazard? Moving parts, scraping surfaces, unbalanced rotating parts, whistling pneumatics, worn parts. And what are the potential consequences? You will feel discomfort, loss of awareness, loss of balance, permanent hearing loss, that is also known as noise induced hearing loss, stress, tinnitus. Tinnitus is the ringing sensation that a person feels in his ear. So you can go across vibration hazard, radiation hazard, and many others in detail. Now it comes hazard, hierarchy of hazard control. See, hazard, most of the hazards cannot be eliminated. Hazard will be there, but what we can do, we can bring that hazard to an acceptable level of risk so that the work can be completed. So this is a very common topic, hierarchy of hazard control, and it is widely asked in different interviews and also in some competitive exams related to environment, health and safety. So if we see the inverted triangle, you can see most effective, this is most effective, and if you go towards the peak of the triangle, it is least effective. So it comes elimination, substitution, engineering control, administrative controls, and PPE. So elimination means physically remove the hazard. Substitution means replace the hazard. Engineering control means isolate people from the hazard. Administrative controls mean change the way people work. And PPE means protect the worker with personal protective equipments. We will see this all hierarchy of controls with some examples in the next slide. So see, elimination. What can be the example of elimination? Replacing normal street light post with high mast. In earlier times, the street light post were just a simple post and the light is fixed to it, and when the light is damaged, a person climbs the street post to change the bulb. So there is a chances of falling of the person from the height or the falling of the material as well. So what can be done? These street lights can be replaced with high mast. High mast means a structure just like in the playground or the stadium, a long street post with different lights that focuses light on the ground in different angles or 360-degree it can focus. So if we replace this simple street post, what we need to do, just open the box of the high mast and then use the lever or the handle so that the complete high mast will come down, and from there you can change the damaged lamp. So we have completely removed the height hazard. What can be the example of substitution? See, replacing liquid chemical with solid flakes. So what we did, we are handling some chemical in a liquid form, so there is a chances of inhaling the fumes or the vapors of that liquid. But if we change that liquid with solid flakes, so the chances of inhalation is negligible, so it can be replaced. Engineering controls means guarding, fencing. You provide some guards so that the people can be isolated from that hazard. For example, visiting a lion in a cage. You are visiting a zoo or a place, a lion is kept in a cage, so you have isolated the person, a cage is isolating the person, and then it is not going to come in contact with the common person, so you have isolated the hazard. Engineering control example can also be seen, just like we said that the high mast, changing of the street light with the high mast. Somewhere what can be done, the high, instead of replacing it with high mast, what you do, we go with the cherry pickers or the man lift or the scissor lift. That is an device. What we do, we use it to reach the location and change it. So what are the administrative controls? Display of standard operating procedure or safe operating procedure, signages, instruction, etc. For example, display of depth in the swimming pool. If you are going in the swimming pool to swim, you can see the display of the depth mentioned everywhere, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, and so on. So it is just a warning sign that is giving you that there is a depth, and you choose the appropriate place to bath. So there is no other control measures, because if you want to swim in the swim, you have to get in the water. You cannot eliminate it, you cannot substitute it. No engineering controls are there, because you have to swim there. And PPs is last, wearing a life jacket, full body harness, or just like you can say a swimsuit. So PPs is the last line of defense. If we talk about the percentage of hazard contamination or the hazard removal, elimination removes 100% of the hazard, and substitution it comes to 75%, engineering control 50%, administrative control 25%, and PPs control only 5%. PPs can be used in addition to this all to provide an additional support, but PPs alone will not help you to completely remove the hazard or remove its consequences to an extendable acceptable limit. So let's see all these examples in a simple phenomena and working. See, if we look at the picture, the task, what is the task? You need to remove the soil or the excessive earth. And what is the hazard? You can see the projected earth, that is the chances of falling. So the risk is it will collapse and it will fall on the person. So we will discuss with this task all the hierarchy of control. So first is the elimination. So what we are going to do, we are not involving any human to remove the earth. What we are doing, we are using the you are using the dynamite or any other explosive to remove it, so that human intervention is not there. So if it is not possible, we will go with substitution. What we are doing, we are replacing the activity, process, or material or substance with a less hazardous one. So what we did, instead of involving a person to remove the excessive earth, we have deployed a robot or a machinery to remove the material. So if that is not possible, so what we will move ahead with the engineering control, separation or redesign. So you can see we have provided additional supports to prevent the collapse of the loose soil or the earth, so the person can go there. So if it is also not feasible, so what we will do, we will go with the administrative control. Administrative control says we have displayed all the cautionary instructions, SOP and everything, and what we are doing, we are just provided a handle so that the person will work at a far distance, not coming in the line of fire of the excessive earth. So if all these things are not possible, so what we are going to do, we are providing with the PPE. It is least effective. For example, you can see we are providing him with safety helmet. Safety helmet is not at all effective in this case, because the earth can collapse in large number and a helmet cannot be of any use in this case. So friends, these are the basic concepts of hazards, its type and hierarchy of control. Hope you have cleared your doubts regarding the hazards and the hierarchy of control. Anything left, you can do comment in the comment section. Hope you have liked the content. Thanks for watching the video.